none of the animals are touching it. Like they're just out in like my backyard, and none of the critters are touching them.
What are you gonna do? Make like a pasta sauce?
Let's roll it. That's
Speaking on peppers, here we go.
The idea was like a hot sauce. Just
Hello
'cause,
and
like,
welcome
like I got jars
to
and like the
Rawk
stuff to ferment them.
Radio episode 36. And here we are with Tommy, talking about peppers, all sorts of peppers.
Hot sauce, man. Bring in the hot sauce. He's got a
Dude,
garden
yeah.
full of peppers. He's gonna bring Tommy's special.
Spitting that hot
Gotta
fire.
bring it. Next
out of
time, you
both
definitely got
ends.
to bring some. Although I probably would pass out.
And
The way,
But
the way.
is that just for yourself though? The hot sauce you're gonna make? Is
No,
just
I
for
think
you?
I'm gonna make like one just separate with the reapers in it, where it's just like pure reapers and like onions and vinegar.
Nice.
And then like you gotta like ferment it and like grind it up or whatever. And then I'll do the other peppers in like their own sauce. So it's like you could actually maybe put that on something. But I think the Carolina like I might like turn that into a weapon. Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know what else you do
lethal.
with it because it's just like nothing
The
about it
Reapers
seems
look
fun.
Terrifying.
Yeah, they're ugly too. They're just like they're mixed. This guy Ed Curry is his name. He's like, which is perfect if you're gonna name like have that name and be like into spicy food and spicy stuff like curry.
Yeah.
But he's just like I think he was like an addict or something like that who like got clean, and he was just like nuts about peppers. That was his thing. He was like in banking or something like that too. So he just like gave everything up, got sober, and then like supplanted his addiction with like hot peppers and
He chose the
why
pepper
not,
life.
man?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he chose the pepper life. Fuck
It's
it.
a good lane to take.
Hey,
Well, then he's like, you watch him and like you watch like YouTube videos of him and stuff, and he's just like popping them in like popcorn. And it's like, okay, like and he's
that's
like,
what
yeah,
I'm saying, man. You
dude.
make those peppers, you could like sell them on Amazon. Jeff Bezos will, he'll distribute
Dang.
for you. Those crazy people who eat the peppers will buy them.
There's got to be a
Yeah.
lot. Like you can't just buy like a switchblade on the internet, or you can't buy like Amazon
sure?
won't even sell like Nerf guns because they look like guns.
They took Nerfs off Amazon?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I was trying to
Whoa.
buy some sick Nerf guns and
Go
get
to the
them,
dark web.
Prime Day
That's
for my
wild.
nephews.
Sell peppers on the dark web. That's one way to live.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the heat, I can't take the heat as much as I used to be able to.
Dude, I think I'm
you know,
getting
like-
better at it, but it's like the next day is pretty rough now.
Yeah.
And
In
like
my
just,
early
like,
20s, I could
indigestion.
pack a couple peppers and be like, okay. But like, it was like maybe a year or so ago, we had this ghost pepper salsa from Trader Joe's, and I love it. But I would like it. It was very apparent that it caught up to me,
Oh, yeah.
and like my stomach wasn't handling it as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the next day it was just painful. I was
Dude.
like, I can't do this like I used to.
It's like both ends of it too. Like you're just like, when is this gonna stop? Like, it's like, is it gonna get worse? Like, oh man, what did I do?
Yeah, dude. Well, speaking of peppers and fire and black magic and the dark arts, what first got you into music, man? And playing music?
Good question. Gee, we're entering the interview portion of this now. I feel like I'm in the hot seat. So, I mean, dude, you've always known me. I grew up playing, I took guitar lessons as a lad, as a young man. Like my dad played guitar, and I'm like the only other member of my family. Oh, my uncle Mike was a drummer too.
Yes.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Hey,
Uncle
that's pretty.
Mike.
That's a couple family members.
And that's definitely where I get like
guitarist.
my hoarding
Yeah.
addiction, like of instruments. If you go to that guy's, he lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, and he's got like the most dazzling collection of drums and like Beatles. He's all into
yeah.
the Beatles. So I have like multiple Ringo kits that are just like the most precisely done, like replicas of Ringo Starr's,
It's amazing.
Ludwig.
Yeah.
That is super gnarly.
Dude, you got to get him in here talking. Like he'll
That would be
give
awesome,
you,
dude.
at least
both
2
of you
days
guys
worth of
on
content.
With the peppers.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, no, it's like and
can
title
eat
the
the
episode
most?
like Tommy kills his uncle.
What's your uncle's name?
Mike
Uncle
Mike. What?
yeah.
Mifter.
What kind of stuff was he into? He's
He was he was him and my dad were big influences on me, like just musically growing up,
Yeah.
because they played they play the instruments, not like regularly. Like my dad would always play like Happy Birthday at birthday parties and stuff.
just chilling on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
that's
like, and he would always catch me. Like he had, now I have it now, but he had this 1969 Gibson SG,
Nice.
the Angus Young one with the Lear vibrola tailpiece,
Badass.
cherry red. Oh, dude, it's beautiful guitar.
Yeah.
But he caught me more than once, like when I was a kid, like sneaking into his room and like playing that.
Stealing
Where it's
it,
like,
just riffing out on it.
and so he, to his credit, you know, he's a great guy. He like encouraged that, and so he bought me my first guitar. He like took me to lessons, and then I always played guitar, and then it wasn't until I was older I got started like branching out, like trying other stuff and trying other instruments, and then really like acquired. Like I had like a Takamine acoustic since I was like 10.
Classic.
Yeah, great guitar. I need to fix the bridge on it. It came off. And then when I graduated 8th grade, my dad got me a Les Paul as a studio.
That was my first guitar, Gibson Les Paul. My bro gave it to me.
To this day, I still have to say it's probably my favorite kind of guitar. It's
Classic.
just the single. You know, like with Fenders, I like Tellys. You know, just something about the single cut.
But damn, are they heavy?
Yep.
Les Pauls are so heavy, dude.
That old Les Paul, the
Heavy
one I
on the
got in 8th
sound
grade,
and on
it's
the-
like 20 pounds.
That was the thing for me, man. Like, I love them. They sound so good, but I can't carry them, especially after the hernia. Like,
Damn.
Yeah, no chance. You'd have to get
They're
like
heavy, bro. They're really.
I see guys like the guy from Trivium, the metal band. He
Yeah.
has like his Les Paul, and he has like it set up with 2 different straps. So it's like that makes a lot of sense because it's like
Gotta handicap that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can't
so-
like ride that below the knees and expect to come out that not looking like a roofer.
oh Jesus,
Yeah.
like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're-
but speaking of, I think we were just talking. You have like a excellent collection, right? What
Yeah.
would
Yeah,
be
it's
your
amazing.
like? What's your choice instrument that you go to?
Lately-
Like, you know, I know it differs. You know, if you're like songwriting or jamming, but
Yeah, because lately it hasn't like not so much like performing and playing and stuff. What I've been doing is building them, man. Like and the tellies, especially. That's like lately. They're like the past like 2 years or so, like out on the road or whatever, and then just like keeping it simple. But then like I like the parts caster, like Telecaster, like where you could get it, if you like a Telecaster, but then like you could make it whatever you want, like customize it. And, like you take like the body, the chunk of wood for the body, the chunk of wood for the neck, and then whatever pickups, whatever like wiring or like setup that you want. And then like my thing too, like I got really like off the deep end with EMG pickups, and then like all their electronics and stuff. So all the tellies are also like active
basically
guitars.
as a PhD in guitars.
Oh, dude,
yeah,
like
you're making these sick combos. Yeah,
I get down the rabbit hole, and then like I'll bring it on, like show them one time. But there's like I have the fretless I was telling you about, but that's got Duesenberg multi-bender on it. So on top of like the whole sliding motif, it's got like it's kind of like a string lock system at the top to keep it in tune, where it's like sort of like a Floyd Rose. And then it's got the individual like arms, so you could put it on all 6 of them if you want, or you could put it on each individual one. So it's like individual string vibrato. So it's like if you're sliding on it, you could tune it into an open chord, and then whatever one you want to bend it on, to like lower it or higher it. So it's like takes it from that major chord to a minor chord, or like to a 7th or whatever.
Yeah.
And the sky's the limit, And all you need is
that's
talent.
amazing.
which-
Do you sell these, or are they all?
Dude,
collected?
it's funny you say that because you're actually like not the first person to ask me that, and I've thought about it like for sure, and I think like if somebody was into it, like I could totally do it, but it's like I don't know if I have like the drive to get that started, or like because it's like it's a passion for me. It's something like I like doing. It's like I have fun doing it, so it's like I would sure have fun doing it for somebody else. Or like if somebody else asked me or was paying me to do it. I think it would have to be like commissioned. Like somebody would say, like, I want you to do this and like make it. I don't know if I would like just like stock up like a wall of like here's all my radical,
not.
radical.
that's
Maybe
not
just
what
put
you
one
do,
up on
yeah.
Etsy.
I
Just,
thought about it.
Customize one, put it up on Etsy, see what happens.
Or just put it out there that you're capable. And
I don't
that, this is some of the shit I do.
Yeah.
And if
Advertise it
anyone's
on.
looking, because that's where it could start.
Yeah.
Could
But
be a fun thing to do.
it's insane, and your collection's beautiful. So yeah, next time we might have to bring the camera to
do
your
a-
house. And
do a
go
showcase.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guitar cribs.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? It's your boy.
Right.
Let's no, but then the next one that I'm thinking, I don't know if I should do like an exclusive and let you guys know ahead of time, like before I actually do it. But the next goal that I've got, Telly, that I want is like a no caster, like in a straight up like. That's like the idea that I had in my head was just blank, and like I like all the paint would be like matte and like really subdued, but then like fretless guitar, so like no frets on the neck, or maybe a bass, fretless, and then the telly body and the telly whatever, maybe some way to like hide the controls, but then have the neck pickup underneath the pick guard. Which, like, I see, like, Brad Paisley's doing that. He's got, like, a Seymour Duncan, like, special pickup that, like, it's called the Secret Agent. And so that goes, like, underneath the pick guard. So you don't see it. So it just looks like a blank, or just, like, the Esquires or the, that just has, like, the bridge pickup. And then I would just get a plate to cover the bridge pickup. So I just have, like, some, probably because I like EMG so much, have, like, some super overdriven humbucker underneath like a cover, so like it's just like a covered telly bridge, and then also have the saddles be piezo saddles, so they're tied in two. So you'd have like a straight up like plain kind of like fuzzy and like buried or subdued neck pickup, which would be good for like softer stuff, I guess. And then this like super expressive, versatile like bridge pickup, as like you could rock out as hard as you would ever want to, and then the piezo too, so you can get like the acoustic or all the like like techno sounds and stuff if you wanted.
Well, hell yeah, brother! How into guitars were you when Jay Guitar was still around?
Jay Guitar, you're going way back now. That's a
and the reason I bring that up was because what was your first band?
My first band, interesting, was me, Timmy Berg. You remember Timmy from?
I do.
He
did that killer.
Phenomenal drummer. He was good back then too.
He's fantastic at drums. But didn't he do the awesome cover of Sum 41?
Which one was that?
It was like V Show. I think he did this.
Probably, dude. He was always in the.
He was a good musician.
He was in like the drum line or like the band or whatever. He went to college, I think, for percussion or like musical performance or whatever. Ooh. And then last I had heard about it, he was doing something like some like percussion, like Blue Man Group, like where it's like a drum based like performance, like
That's
band.
So cool.
But I don't think they were like dressed in blue suits, but it was like a bunch of really good like percussionists.
So you guys, who started it? You or him?
Well, me and him, we were in like scouts together. Like it was like this Indian scouts. So it's just like I don't think they do that anymore. Like the Indian scouts, it was like Native American themed, like a bunch of suburban white kids in vests.
They definitely don't do that anymore.
It was hilarious. We go on camping trips to Wisconsin every winter, and then like there was like scavenger hunts, and like it was with like dad. So it's like my parents were divorced. It was like usually divorced parents. It was like kids and their dad, like when their dad would have them like on the week or whatever. And then, it was hilarious. Like they give you a necklace, and instead of like merit badges, you get like little eagle's claws or like bear claws, like arrowheads that were plastic.
The people wearing those.
Oh man. My name was Golden Arrow. My brother's name was Swift Arrow. And then my dad's name was Bent Bow.
Bent Bow.
But, good times. But anyway,
wow.
That's where I met Timmy Berg, and he was like the only other kid that I knew growing up, like really well, that like played another instrument, and he just evidently was drums. There's a few other kids that I knew that I would like talk about guitars with, or like play Nirvana songs with or whatever. But and then Alex was in that one too, and we had our first ever show was at Jay Guitar.
It was at Jay Guitar. Yes, I thought so. I was like, I'm taking a stretch on this one, but that was the first show you guys did.
We played a couple songs. They were all cover songs. And it was like the only one that I'm remembering is that Chevelle song.
Yeah, dude. Seeing Red.
You
guys did a great cover of that. Yeah, him and Alex.
Alex is singing, but Alex is like 13 years old at the time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was still just bleaching the front of his hair. Yeah. Like he had long hair, but then just the front was blonde. Because it was the style never. I would give him a hard time about that after the fact. Like it was such a, that's like in my heart. That's where I'll never forget that that hairstyle. But,
Bring it back.
Oh, for
Alex.
real?
Start rocking it now, dude.
Yeah, I'll bring that back. It's look at the way that the kids are wearing it now. Like it's basically
Yeah,
there. They just got to
it
start
came
bleaching
back.
it.
Yeah.
Well, then the mullet. I didn't see that coming back either.
Dude, that got so hot
yeah,
in 2020.
it's
Huh?
wild.
Dude, I went to
It was
like
like a lockdown. Who would ever thought we all get locked inside our houses and the
Get
mullet just
mullets.
blows
Yeah,
up?
just,
yeah, it's
everything's
like,
cyclical, man. It's odd how,
that,
how
and now
things come back
so it's like
around.
emo is coming back
Yeah.
soon, right?
Yeah.
It's gotta
Totally.
like that. Is it back yet or no?
Oh,
Is it-
totally. Yeah,
It's
I worked at a high
definitely
school.
coming back, yeah.
Like
So and the kids are doing. The kids are doing. Like
There's a bunch of metalheads and emo kids. It's wild to see. There's like, just as
Well,
many
it's kind
as
of like
there was
choose your
in-
own character now.
Yeah.
as
I
a
wish
little kid.
there's
yeah.
got to be like,
like-
new stuff they're listening to though. It's got to be like new.
Nah, man, they like
It's all-
Korn and Deftones.
It's all just the same-
Yeah,
same
that
stuff we
alt,
were.
like the
Like
new
that.
metal's actually having a wave.
Yeah?
Which is wild. Yeah, the new metal's really having a
like
wave.
new like coming out now or like
no, like
NU?
Korn,
Yeah, okay.
Slipknot, like 9-Inch Nails, like that.
I love 9 Inch Nails.
Early 2000s new metal is like all over the TikTok.
Yeah, I think they went through the '80s already, and they're going into like the early '90s shit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The kids move fast
Hey,
nowadays.
what was the band called?
That we started off. It was the Invisibles. I think was
Nice.
what the first like name that we had because we wanted to call ourselves Filthy Sanchez, and I'm not kidding. I'm like 100% serious. But Jerry
It
Persick,
was
the guy
legit,
who
huh?
owned
You were seriously
Jay Guitar-
considering it?
That's what we always said. Like when we were practicing, that's what we said. Like, what's our band name? It's like Filthy Sanchez. I don't even think we really knew what that meant at the time. It's-
Filthy Sanchez. Let's go. Great name.
For real though, like I thought, like, and we were too young to really like understand it. But like in hindsight, it's like that's funny. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go teach that to my nephews. But no, so what's it? And he wouldn't call us Filthy Sanchez. Like he wouldn't announce us or like put us up as the Filthy Sanchez. So we said we were the Invisibles. It was like
Man.
we weren't even like a real band. It's but no, it was good times.
Yeah, man. I remember that show. I remember being uptown and seeing that.
Oh,
It's
wow.
wild. But yeah, I loved that guitar shop.
That was it was cool that
and-
we had that.
But yeah, Jay
That's
was
where I
was
took
cool.
bass
Other
lessons.
than not allowing you guys to take the righteous name of Dirty
I know,
Sanchez
right?
on the stage.
Well, no,
But-
I bought a Marshall. I got like a combo amp from Guitar Center, and he found out about that. He didn't have any Marshalls. If he had Marshalls, I would have bought it there, but I didn't. And that's what I wanted. Like,
true.
So like I had a Les Paul. It's like I got this awesome Les Paul, like for my first guitar. It's like I want to pay it out of like a practice amp forever. I saved up my money. It's like I wanted to get the Marshall. I have like a real like tube amp. And like whatever.
It was all PVs and Gibson.
Yeah, like in practice amps or like stuff for like if you were learning how to play, which
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. Like, and it's I took lessons there. I was like spending I bought tons of stuff there anyway. But it's like that's just whatever. But he lit me up. I was like probably 15 years old. I remember talking to like my guitar teachers and stuff afterwards. They're like the guy who like bought it afterwards. He's a good guy, Jared. But I remember talking to them like afterwards. He's like, what happened? Like, why was it like, what'd you do? Or like, what happened? Like, and I tell it's like, I bought a Marshall from Guitar Center, and it was like, okay, well, like I see the reaction, but Jesus,
Yeah.
like, so. I don't
Well,
know.
damn! How long did Dirty Sanchez stick around for?
Filthy Sanchez. Yeah, that's
the-
everybody. I've never heard anybody say like Filthy Sanchez. It's always Dirty Sanchez. So it's like why we had to call it Filthy Sanchez. Why that was like the.
It's so good.
But yeah, I don't know.
What was the next band? Or how long did that band last?
Not very long. Yeah, I don't
A
know.
couple days.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we're like this is high school. It was like a high school
Yeah.
thing. So it was like we and Tim Berg lived like, like a block and a half away from me, and then
Yeah.
like Alex wasn't much further either. So it was really just like that's like the local like high school band, like garage band. So we were
yeah.
mostly practicing in Timmy Berg's basement. So it's like not basement band or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were good times because it was a lot of fun. And then, I don't know. Yeah,
You retired your band career then? That was the one and only?
I was in a band in college too. That was mostly like just a bunch of drinking buddies who all played instruments, you know.
Yeah.
Well, because when I wasn't in college, like I would come back during the breaks and stuff,
Yeah.
and then that was like the treehouse days.
I know we were just jamming with everyone.
Yeah,
jamming
so
with a
that
bunch of people
was
meeting up.
like
That's what
this is
we-
what you did. Like you just
Yeah.
get fucked up and play guitars or go somewhere and
That's
listen
what we're trying to
people play
bring
guitars.
back, man. Come,
Rock radio.
Come,
That's
come,
how you
fucking
gotta-
jam in room 4.
Keep these blues alive, you know. And this is if no better place than Chicago,
Yeah.
Chautauqua.
Yeah, man. So many good times at Kingston Mines with you. Woo. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Nights I can't remember,
Dude,
but so much beautiful music. Wow.
and we're super fortunate too. Like, there's lots of towns like don't have like that like
Yeah.
culture of
It's
like
it's-
music, and
every
then also
night
just
is good.
It's a gem. Like it's something you don't really. But I remember I went there before I went to Afghanistan on pre-deployment leave, and like you'd always go out front, and then like the MC Pellegrino, the guy who like I think owns the place, or his dad owned the place, and then now he does. The big dude who talks like, like Carl Weathers me, but he was outside like smoking cigarettes, and I was like smoking or whatever, and then somebody had mentioned it to him that it's like we were here for like my pre-deployment like just party, like we're gonna go get drunk at Kingston Mines, listening to music all night. And so he goes up on the stage and like tells everybody, he's like, all right, everybody, we got a guy, like he's a real hero in the audience. Like, we're going to give these guys enough credit. Like, he's going off to Afghanistan. Like, raise your hand, Tommy. Like, let's give a round of applause or whatever. So for the rest of the night, I'm double fisting it because like everybody wants to buy a beer or buy a shot for like
He's gonna go fight
the
war,
guy
man.
before he's going to go off and fight. So I was like, I was ripped. And that's like, after that, I like blacked out and just like, yeah, it was rough. But I'll never that part I'll never forget is just how cool that was, and then so many other memories too, just going down there. It's a great place.
Great spot, dude.
I love too seeing you see people wearing that T-shirt too, like the one with like the sun on it, and there's different versions of it. But it's like you always see that, like you'll see like somebody's live performance or like a band, and it's like the keyboard player, the drummer's wearing like a Kingston Mine shirt. It's like hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
They know.
Hell yeah.
I remember like when I was in college, one of my friends, he's a exchange student from Australia, so he came to go visit, America, and then when I like made friends with him, so he came to go visit Chicago, and I showed him around, and that's the first place I took him was Kingston Mines. So he's like, or not, maybe that's fair, but one of the places like where he ended up that night, just getting hammered and good times. Yeah.
Gotta show them.
Yeah.
Did you go join the Marines and then go to college, or go to college?
No, I went to college and then I joined, then I enlisted.
Yeah,
So,
then you enlisted.
yeah.
Why did you enlist?
I didn't want to be an officer. I wanted to be in the Marines, but I was not like cut out to be an officer. It's not like it's different. It's a different job, and it's different. Like it's like, do you want to be the point guard or do you want to be the coach? Like,
right.
I want to be on the Wheaties box. So.
Yes.
And nothing. There's no problem, and especially if you're going to stay in. It's probably a good idea to try and be an officer, like for your career. But it's like I was young. I knew I wasn't going to be doing it forever. There was a war going on. I wanted to fight.
What was the deployment like?
Which one?
Afghanistan.
3 times.
Oh, 3 times.
Yeah.
So Afghanistan and where else?
I did first one was Afghanistan in Southern Helmand, and then the second one was I was doing Dutch bilateral training in Norway, which if that makes sense because the Dutch don't live in Norway, so it didn't make any sense to me either. But it was in preparation for an Arctic NATO operation. It was like called Cold Response, like 2014 or something. It was this whole big NATO exercise with all these different countries, and they just needed like Americans, I guess, attached to this Dutch Royal Marines unit. So they sent me and like 9 other guys. I had raised my hand actually to go back to Afghanistan because I had the unit that I was in that I went to Afghanistan immediately disbanded when I was done. And then they just broke us up and sent us to different units. And then that unit I went to, they were like, well, we need like a couple of hands to like random people, like individual augmentees is what they call it. Just like one guy that'll go over there, 1 or 2 or a handful of guys that'll just go over there instead of like a whole unit or like a battalion or whatever. They were taking them, so I was like, well, shit, I was just there, and I what else am I doing? Like, this is
Right.
what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So I was like volunteered to go back, and they're just like, yeah, no, sit back down. So like, all right, whatever. Then a week later, they're just like, hey, sit back up, you know? So
Yeah,
it's
you're
like,
going to the Arctic.
they
Yeah.
told us too. It's like you're doing Dutch bilateral training in Norway. I was like, I don't want to like be the asshole who went to college, but like those are two different countries. Like the Dutch don't live in Norway. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are we doing? And then they're just like, shut up, color. And I'm like, all right, I will.
Did you get to bring any of your axes?
Which one? No,
Guitar
that
or
one I
something?
didn't. That one that was probably the only deployment that I didn't get to like have a guitar with me or have like
Okay.
we stopped at a guitar store like in the middle of like nowhere Norway at one point, and then I think we
Damn.
stopped like we definitely saw live music in like Rotterdam and Amsterdam when we were in the Netherlands, but.
But in
Badass.
Afghanistan, you had an axe.
Yeah, I actually, before you go there, like I
Yeah.
knew the address of like where I was going to go. So if you wanted to send like care packages or whatever, that's where you would send it to. So I just had that Taylor, the like little small like GS Mini. I just bought that for that specific purpose to mail to
war,
myself.
Dang.
That
Nice,
axe was
dude.
for
That
war.
the axe served its
Yeah.
country. I still got it. It's
beautiful,
That's a
man.
fucking legend.
But,
right
Back to
there.
us.
great guitar, but I gave it to my sister to like mail to me. It was like I bought it in like Illinois and I went to North Carolina, but then it was with my sister here in like Schaumburg, and I told her I was like, when this date, like I'll give you the address. It's like here's the money, like just mail it to there, and like I'll get it when I get there. And then also like I would be able to contact her when I like called back home and talk to her and like figure out where it is and like if it got sent, if she could like have any sort of tracking or whatever, because I'm in like a dune pit, you know, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like a month or two into the deployment, it's still not there. And I was like, well, it's like we sent it ahead of time. Like it should have been here. Like, but it's like, you know, you never know like how it's going to go. So I was like, fuck it. So I had, you like every now and then you get access to the internet or you'd have some sort of like internet access. Like we didn't, not all the time, but sometimes. So I had that like one time. And then as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, it's like, just in case I'm going to, I went on Musician's Friend and had him like just ship out to like the APO. So then I was already there. So I didn't have to wait till I got there. I just like figured I could order it from. So I just ordered like a $200 Epiphone acoustic.
Made sure you
Nice.
could jam.
Gets the job
Yeah.
done.
Dude, literally
Absolutely.
the next day after I had like gotten this internet, it's like the next day it was like also Log Train was coming. That was like the logistics train of just like trucks and like stuff like bringing out supplies and whatever to different positions. That comes up the next day and it's got mail with it. And what's of course in the mail? It's like, oh, that guitar shaped box over there.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, well, it's like this is the biggest problem I've got is 2 guitars on this deployment, which I did like. I ended up, and then so I had 2 guitars like the entire deployment. It's like just floating. I started jam with my buddies, like leave one at one base and like put the other one in our truck
Right,
and like
yeah.
take it out with us.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna ask how often did you guys get to break away and jam?
All the time. That's and like there wasn't. That's I would say like there's no better audience than that. Like sitting out in the middle of the desert where it's like you have like no running water or like really electricity besides like your trucks and like the
Fucking
stuff around there. And
Find
it's-
time to jam.
and just
yeah.
pull out a guitar and just play like wagon wheel for a bunch of Lance
Did you
Corporals
play
that
Canyon
love
Joe?
it.
Yeah. bunch
Yeah,
of
yeah,
songs.
that was
Played
back in
Canyon
the.
Joe.
That was
Dude,
one.
your
Of,
cover of Canyon Joe.
I love that
So
song
good.
too. Such a good song. But yeah, that was back. That was one. They had they lost the guy on the like deployment before I had gotten there, like the same unit, who was like a sergeant. And he was like a beloved guy in the unit, and he would always play guitar too. And his like song that his like iconic song that he would play was Wagon Wheel. So I got requested that by like everybody in the unit, like
Nice, dude.
nonstop. And I was like, all right, this is
Yeah.
4 chords. And then everybody could sing along. Even just recently, I was at like a party with my wife and like her coworkers. It was like a professional party. This guy's like a doctor. This big, is like a surgeon or like head of surgery or something like that. He's like a big like wig doctor. In his basement, he's just got this amazing spread downtown. It's a like this McMansion in like the city. Millions of dollars, and then his basement is just like these really sick like guitars, and he also had some like parts casters that he had built. So, but then they got like this impromptu jam set. There's a couple of people who play guitar and like him, and they're just like, of course, my wife like kicks me up there. It's like, you play guitar, go up there and play. I'm like, I've been drinking and stuff too, so it's like
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna be playing too much, and it's like also like whatever. There's this lady, like this old lady who wanted to like sing to every song that people were playing, so they put a microphone into like an amplifier.
Nice.
So I was like, taking requests, and that was one that's like everybody knows that song, so they pulled it out.
Hell yeah, dude. That's great, man.
That's
Good
always a
times.
hit too. There's nobody dislikes hearing that song.
Yeah, it's just such a good song, man. Yeah, that's great though. You got to entertain those folks and entertain your boys.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. Like, there's no better audience than that. You know, like
so I can't imagine.
they're captive audience for sure.
Yeah.
They can't go anywhere else.
I guess it makes sense though that you couldn't get a guitar up to the Arctic though, right?
No,
Yeah.
and I mean, because that's it. When with Afghan, like I just so happened to be able, because I thought it was just going to be like a disposable guitar. Like I was, I'd be able to send it there, cool. But like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to send it back. So the idea that I had was like, which I ended up doing with the Epiphone, it was like, well, we're going to be, it's called RIP, like relieved in place. So like if you're out at this position, the next unit that comes and relieves you, they're going to come and like hang out with you for a couple of days, and then you're going to leave, and then like more of their unit's going to come and more of your unit's going to leave.
Right.
So they do, it's a relief in place, RIP. So I just figured it's like, well, when I do that, like I'm going to go around and ask whatever unit relieves us, like who plays guitar? Here you go. Like,
anybody want this? Right.
which I did that with the Epiphone. But since I had two guitars, and then they gave you like one last final mail call, and we just so happened to be at a base where I could like wrap up my guitar in a big case and like
Got it
keep
home.
it safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mailed it to Alex. Yeah, in Los Angeles. I was like, yo, dude, I don't know when I'm gonna be able to get this back, but just keep it until then. He's got like 4 or 5 guitars like that still of mine. He's got my Les Paul, the first one.
Nice.
And that was the thing too. Like I would go on these deployments, they pay you more money, like for like hazard duty pay or like separation pay or like combat pay. But then so you not have any chance to spend it while you're over there, except for like a $200 Epiphone. But like otherwise, like I'm not have any bills or like regular expenses and stuff, but I'm getting paid more money. So I'd come back home to the States and just immediately blow at least half of it on guitars and just like guitars or instruments and whatnot. So that one I got
so
after
cool,
that
dude.
deployment. I got the Gibson, the Montana Gibson that I still got the acoustic, and then a 1975 a Gibson ES 345. So it's the 335. There's a difference, but this one has the Veritone switch, the like BB King's one with like the 7 position.
Well, what have you been doing with all those sick
That
puppies,
that
dude?
one's in Los Angeles with Alex.
Okay, that
'cause I
one's
was-
still in LA.
And I like he could take care of them too. Like
Yeah.
because there's enough of them that I got in storage in like a storage unit in Palatine. Some I got in my basement now. Some I got over with him. Like, and then it's just like, I'm just going to be taking up space. And then he had his studio up and running. And so I was like, take this. So you have guitars.
Did you guys
like,
get anything? Or when you were there, did you track out with them or get to jam with them at all?
Nah. That's
Man.
all
I
my
was
stuff's
hoping
put out.
tonight was gonna be the jam, man. The reunion, man.
That we'll do. We
It
got
will happen.
Yeah.
I know it will happen. It will happen.
Like I said, he seemed like he had a bunch of stuff going on while he's in. So
yeah, totally.
but no, it's we gotta get the.
It's gonna happen. What have you been jamming to at home? Been recording anything? You start working on that 20-minute ballad you've been promising me?
I mean, it's more difficult than you'd imagine. Believe it or not. Yeah, no, not like a ballad. I wanted to do like an epic, like
an epic. There
like
you go.
a drama. like a musical drama. Yeah, like a
Love it. Yeah. 20 minutes of
but-
pure.
Yeah, dude, it's a cool idea.
To have it be
I
like
thought- when you told me about that when we were just talking, I was like, that would be cool. I could see you doing it too. With the lyrics you had envisioned and the storyline. I was like, man, you should do that. You should definitely get that song done, man. That's a cool idea.
Well, and I feel like that. I don't know. Like it'd be. I mean, it's just a lot of work to get it started and get like an actual whole thing together. But I feel like that would be like my style of songwriting now, where it's like, because I'm not selling anything. I'm not like putting together like I'm trying to package anything in like a neat little 2.5 minute song.
Yeah.
So I just like write something that is like poetic, but like a narrative and make it musical. Like incorporate music. But easier said than done, man. It's a lot of it.
Still very possible, man. I see that in the near future.
I appreciate that approach though, because it's not like just throwing shit at the fan. It's like keyword poetic. You know, you
Yeah.
put some thought into something, and
Yeah.
it's okay.
That's-
it does if you don't.
should do it.
Good shit can take time.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like some 9 Inch Nails stuff or like Tool, like where it just take. It'll come. It'll just be like 12 years from now. It's like
Right.
Yeah, I'll get
just
to it when I get
sitting
to
there
it.
tweaking with the levels
Yeah.
in the laboratory.
I need some more time.
But there's so much of my time now is just getting taken up with the house, like just doing all the work in the house, and then it's just inconvenient, you know, like while everything's like underwater with like being built and like torn apart and like put together, it's like all the stuff you gotta put it away or keep it up or like keep it out of the way. So I just love that, man. Like being able to have like a setup where you could just walk into like playing your instruments, you know, or
Totally.
like having a drum set, you just
Well,
hop in
yeah,
behind it.
man. Bring some stuff here if you ever want
Dude, yeah, I got
to jam. Serious.
oh no, for real! I got some drums too.
Speaking of
keep here
jamming.
if you want to.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of jamming, we're around about this time. This is well, thanks for joining us. By the way,
Yeah, this is
tonight
fun.
this has been a blast. But this is about the time we break away and jam it up a little bit,
All right.
and then we lay down a roundup. But yeah, man, let's get to it.
Just like Gene and Roy singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy. I should have been a cowboy. Oh, I should have been a cowboy. I might have had a sidekick with a funny name, running wild through the hills, chasing Jesse James. Ended up on the brink of danger, riding shotgun for the Texas Rangers. Go west, young man. Haven't you been told California's full of whiskey, women, and gold, singing out all night under the desert stars, dreaming my eye in a prayer in my heart. I should have been a cowboy. I should have learned to roll and ride. I'd be wearing my 6-shooter, riding my pony on a cattle drive, stealing a young girl's heart, just like Gene and Roy, singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy. I should have been a cowboy. Oh, I should have been a cowboy.
That's Toby Keith, y'all.
Fuck yeah, man. Great American.
Well, I probably know it's
Cool.
This is a sad one though. It's about trucking, living on the road.
I got a letter at an old mailbox I forgot I had at a little truck stop. I read it once, then I read it again, and I could hardly keep from crying. Been driving around the last week or so with an empty box. I don't have a load, but I don't care, 'cause to tell you the truth, I think I might be dying. And it's trucker speed, Benzedrine, Percocets, amphetamines, black beauties and West Coast turnarounds. When the coast is clear, I drive with my knees, mix it all up like a recipe. Coca-Cola, coffee to wash it down. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground. side of the road. He said, "You're a mess," when I told him you didn't leave an address. And he got another call. He said, "Oh, we're right here. I'll be back in a little while." So I hung my head and folded my arms. I slept on the wheel for an hour more. Then I fired her up and I took off into the night. And it's trucker speed, bands of drink, Percocets and vitamins, black beauties and West Coast turnarounds. When the coast is clear, I drive on my knees, mix it all up like a recipe. Coca-Cola, coffee to wash it down. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground. High ceiling, throat throttle, and I couldn't stop. I peed in a bottle. I've been so lonesome I made Hank Williams look like a party of five. And I've been beat up, broken down, loaded on a truck and driven into the town. I always thought you'd be there at the end of the line. I always thought you'd be there at the end of the line. And it's trucker speed, bands of drink, Percocets and vitamins, black beauties and West Coast turnaround. When the coast is clear, I drive on my knees, I mix it all up like a recipe. Coca-Cola, coffee to wash it down. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground. Sometimes I feel like my wheels ain't touching the ground.
In all the vastness of space and all the vastness of the universe, we're the only ones that are here. That, like, it never happened anywhere else, never occurred or whatever. But then if that's the case, where are they? So that's the Fermi paradox. If it's just impossibly unlikely that we're alone and we're it.
So what if they are the shit you see when you're tripping? And like DMT and stuff. What if they're just like things that are actually occurring, but it's only glimpses that people are seeing these things?
I think that's probably more likely. You know, like something like the calls coming from inside the house, where rather than it being like extraterrestrial,
from inside the house.
yeah, like it would be like us from another dimension, or us like interdimensionally, or like time traveling, or something like that. Rather than, like, I think it would be a lot easier in like the vastness of space. Just like if you think about like if you do like the math on like physics, how long it would take some like, you know, a spaceship or projectile or whatever to get from like one place to the other, and like how the math would work out on that, and you'd keep like an organism or like a civilization or like a crew, whatever, alive long enough to get anywhere and like do anything, where it's like they might be all over the place, but it's just so spread out and so hard to get from one place to the other, or to communicate, that it's like just unlikely that it would ever happen unless it was like crossing dimensions or crossing space time, or like
multi-dimensional.
Yeah, like something rather than just like the distance.
Hello and welcome to Rawk Radio Roundup, episode number 36, and we're entering the interdimensional portion of the show.
Yeah, we got our levels check. We're good to go, right?
Levels are good.
Yeah, we're
looking great.
They sound
We got our sponsor.
Yeah, Liquid Death is our
Shout out to
sponsor
Liquid
today.
Death
Thank you very
for
much.
that liquid courage, thirst quenching, extravagant experience.
And thank you
You
for
open it up, you put it in your body.
Yeah,
it just makes you feel so good.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not hearing Tom in the cans there, but
I'm hearing everything in the cans.
okay, good. As long as we got him.
Yeah.
Just another shout out to the transdimensional species that are joining us here tonight in that
Yes.
fourth chair. Thank you.
Yeah. We had to kick Chicken Man out. He couldn't hang.
Management's not welcome on the show, clearly.
Not allowed,
just
dude.
bad.
He's getting totally out of control. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, interdimensional beings definitely have to exist. There's no way they couldn't.
Yeah, that's where I really like
But it's
got
got to be in the
movie.
spirit. It's everything happening in the spirit realm.
Well, Interstellar is a great movie that tries to explain it, right? If you
Sorta,
can-
yeah.
You know, like that's a good one, and there's good. They even tried to back it up with the science and the physics, the
Yeah.
current set of what we
Yeah.
think we understand as physics, right? But like I always say, it's like, what if there's just some depth to it that we don't understand as humans, right? Like how a dog doesn't understand what it means to be human. What if we're just not, we don't have that depth of understanding to know what the next step in existence is beyond being a human.
That reminds me of something I just heard about.
That is very well
whales,
put.
Where it's like orca whales, like killer whales. There's like the alpha, species of the ocean. They have a spot in their brain where it's like between like the equivalent of like our brains, like the front end and like the brain stem and like all those parts. There's an extra like whole entire lobe that's in there that like we barely understand how our own brains work. So let alone like this whole extra part that's like a functioning portion of this thing's brain. So it's like the idea of like what that does or how that functions, like it would be us like imagining something that we're incapable of imagining. So it's like how you even put that in perspective. What
It's amazing. I had no idea so an orca it's just that complex like a human's brain.
And they communicate. They have language. I mean, like potentially that like we just can't understand, or like methods of how they communicate. And then they're obviously very organized and very collected and like social, and like there's all sorts of like really complex things, and like we don't understand how they communicate. Like a lot of the whales, like we don't even
One
know.
sec, really quick.
They could sense like the
Hello and welcome
tiny
back.
magnetic
Thank you,
pulse
Liquid
between
Death,
their,
for this excellent experience.
like prey's heartbeat. So it's like as their heart pumps and like the iron in their blood pumps, there's like a magnetic current that goes with that, which is like what they're able to sense. So it's like when they smell blood in the water and they smell like prey. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
Damn.
that's where, do you think humans have something in us? Is that where we're talking about the psychedelics? They unlock that part, the DMT, when you take that. I always thought it was interesting that it's released when you were born, when you dream, and when you die, or when you fucking take a hit of it or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah.
It's got to be like.
opens up that realm, I guess, where you could just get like a peek into another dimension, right? Or
Dude, and it's wild. It's I don't know, like, and how like there's different degrees of it too. That's where like I think just saying like simply like this, like it's like a spirit realm or like some like spiritual thing, like it, yeah. But then it could also be like a myriad, like an infinite amount of like other things too. Like how it doesn't have to be just like one or like this one and that one. It's like it's like like if you like move your hand really fast or like look at something through a strobe light, where it's just like just different layers or different shades of like who knows, so it's wild. And then I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird to think about because you could stare at yourself in the mirror and for 5 hours and you'll have some type of effect.
and the illusion of time. What about
Yeah,
that,
right.
Well, they don't even really know too, like where we get it.
Start
Like
waving my hands until it goes out.
it's like a endogenous chemical in our bodies, and like it's in like everything, like every organism really. Like,
Is it really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Dang.
Well, and that's why they can't make it illegal Like they couldn't really like schedule it or like try and restrict it or anything, because it's like they would have to make so many different plants illegal, and like most of them are like weeds that like you could go out and like find or like
Wild.
just.
That is wild.
Most of the people who make it, they like order just like root bark in bulk or in like larger amounts, or it's just like powder, and they just do their science project with it. But which is like a super easy, like basic like chemistry, basic like thing to like extract it from like just even the most like common plants. Not.
How many times have you drawn influence from that for songwriting?
Oh, I don't know if you could do that. Like, I would be no good at anything. I mean, I could like after the fact try and like, scatter
Capture it.
like,
Dude, that's the thing
capture,
that
like, what
bums me out, man. Even I remember being buzzed, like, not alcohol, because alcohol sucks. But for me. But buzzed, like, when you're just like a little stoned, a little high, like always, even then, good ideas, great ideas will come to me. And then I don't freaking capture it in time.
Gotta execute.
But then, you're right. Like when you're taking that big of an adventure, it's a way different experience and even harder to capture your actual thought
Come back
process and like the
tell
idea.
about it.
Yeah, and then like even after the fact, like you could have the most like profound experience, but then it's like having a dream where it's like, oh wow, that's so visible. Like what happened? It's like, oh, I forgot. Like
Right.
I don't know. It's like I know what I felt and I know what I experienced, but it's like if you're asking me to like describe that or explain it or like put it in those, and it's like, oh,
It'd be impossible
Yeah,
unless
dude,
you
it's
just
just
write
light
it down
and,
when you wake up and like recall it or tell someone about it. Right?
Yeah.
It's gonna slowly fade away.
I've
It's
heard
like,
of people doing that too, where they have like
Yeah.
like dream journals, but
Yep.
with like their DMT, and then just like trying to keep on to or trying to retain like the stuff that they like if they have like breakthroughs or if they're trying
wake
to do it
up
like
with that
therapy.
shit in your pants, piss the bed, and you just try to get, where's my notebook?
Yeah.
Shit.
Right?
It's like the elves, they were there. I saw them. I broke through. It's
I know.
I don't
Never
know.
get captured on time. It sucks.
I don't with
Have you ever tried?
DMT.
Yeah, came back to capture
no,
the experience, like write down some lyrics or whatever you gathered from.
No, I mean it'll probably be a fun experiment, but I don't like. That was not on my mind anytime I did. Say like it's kind of like a heroic dose of mushrooms, just like compressed into like 5-7 minutes. Just like a short duration.
Heroic
But it's-
dose. That's a great way of explaining it. Yeah.
But like that's. I mean, a heroic dose I think is defined as like 3.5 to 5 grams or more.
I didn't know that
So,
was a
oh.
definition.
It's like a Terrence McKenna or Dennis McKenna or one of those things, but that's in the mycelial.
How long does
community.
it last?
What, DMT or psilocybin?
Because you're saying it's the heroic dose.
Okay,
but
so
like,
that's why I love DMT so much more than like psilocybin in that regard, because it's like if you hit not necessarily like I always say this, like I don't think that there's such a thing as a bad trip, but it's like there's trips that aren't like jolly and fun and like
True.
lighthearted. There's like, and it's like if you're taking the stuff and you got like shit you got to deal with, you got like they always say it's like set and setting and dosage, like those are the important things, like your mindset and like where you're doing it, like don't
setting,
you know,
camera, lights, action.
you're gonna have a bad trip if you're like
In a
in
bad spot.
prison, or if you're
true.
like
Oh, yeah, dude,
like
fuck
in a bad place or whatever, or if you're traumatized, like if you've been through anything, or if like you have some shit that's like repressed that you're not dealing with, or like any sort of like emotional problem. And that's the other thing too, like people got to be honest about it. Like people do usually it's like younger 20s, like kids who probably would have like a problem with it anyway, but like people do have like psychotic breaks from it. They'll like trip balls and like not be okay afterwards. So it's most of the time that's like when you're younger, so it's like you gotta be careful about that.
It was stupid how we were smoking when I was younger, dude. Like it just didn't make any sense, and my brain could not process it at all. Not only was I like on a bunch of drugs, because I had bipolar or whatever so called at the time, not but they had me on like lithium, fucking like just a cocktail, and then I start smoking a little bit of pot, and it's just like I had no idea what was going on. I was 13 years old. My brain was like
Still growing,
not handling it at all.
Well, your
like
brain-
it's insane. They had me on Adderall at 13, 14 years old. That's insane.
Yeah,
That is
that's
like fucking
hardcore, and your
crazy,
brain
dude.
is nowhere
And
near finished developing.
Lithium, like Effexor, Depakote.
And
Dude, I couldn't
there's
tell
no,
you, like-
no doctor out there, especially back then, who could tell you like this is what it's going to do. We're going to give you this dose, and this is what's going to happen to it. And
Yeah.
This is why. Like they're just basically throwing like shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like
I know, dude. Guinea
I don't know,
pig.
I mean-
Guinea pig I was. What a shame.
Yeah,
The
I
early
mean, like,
2000s,
that's
man.
where it's like the Western pharmaceutical,
I mean, it's
Western health.
brought to you by
shit.
Pfizer.
Well, the
Shout out to Liquid
isn't the
Death.
better option just to like
Back to our sponsors.
like meditate, take your mushroom vitamins, and like
Well, even
just
that,
do your
like,
yoga.
meditation is a big thing. Like, people don't understand like the concept of like neuroplasticity. Like your brain is rubber. It's like plastic. It moves. It's moldable. Like the folds in your brain are changing like based on what you do to your brain.
Yeah, I heard
So,
you want
yeah.
to continue to learn to do new things.
Yeah, so
Keep
like
challenging yourself. That's what's good for neuroplasticity.
yeah.
And-
Well, and then resting it too. So like the meditation or like the focus of that, like where it's being able to like clear your mind or being able to like calm your mind.
Yeah.
Is incredibly healthy for it, and that's like that develops into like a healthy brain. I mean, that with like exercise too. That's another one.
Yeah.
It's like if you're well exercised,
Man,
you're healthy.
gotta get back to it.
What's your routine like?
Yeah. What,
My workout routine, I wouldn't call it a routine. That's generous. It's get in when you can. I have a bunch of weights that I'm just like collecting and like
Yeah, they just collect.
I have a bike too, like a bicycle, and then also like just an exercise bike. So I'll hit that.
Yeah,
Do you
but
just move the
dude,
stuff around the house as you work
20
on
Well,
this.
that's
20,
hardest workout, I think,
2018,
is just
2019,
labor.
Tommy, you were jacked.
What's
You were jacked, dude. Like
Back-
you were going so hard.
back
You
in
hurt
my
yourself
day.
how hard you
I
were
hurt
working out,
I
right?
tore my pec bad. Like it was a partial tear. That's a career-ending
That's
injury.
gotta kill so bad.
Still bothers me. Still got to work around it.
What's the regular day look like? You wake up, meditate, throw some dumbbells around,
Yeah, I
write a song.
I wake up in the morning and I immediately just start jacking fools. I roll out of bed and my foot doesn't hit the ground. It goes up someone's ass.
Right out of bed, you know.
First thing in the morning, no alarm, boots to asses.
Yeah.
Who's going to carry the boats?
That's how you gotta attack
That
life.
is
dude.
the classic
That's it, man.
Sloan wake up approach.
I'm trying to
Love
get
Yeah.
to that level, man.
But so
Just
all
wake
all
up
that's
kicking ass. Yeah.
just code or code speak for wake and bake is usually
Yeah.
how I wake
Nice.
up. Then I'll make myself breakfast and then
Yeah.
then I cut to the chase.
Anything you're excited about? You got going on, or
The house, man, that's it's taken up a ton of my time and
Just as long as we
it's-
get the studio set up. in
That's
there.
what I'm saying,
Or
like,
at least a portion.
it's
of
at
the
a
studio
spot
in
now
the
where
room.
I feel like I'm kind of like trapped or like I'm imprisoned in it where it's like you can't stop now,
Gotta
but
get
it's
it done.
not finished, like not ready. It's not like a
You can't
full-
start having fun yet, but Guitar Center's only a block away.
That's what I should do. Like instead of practicing guitar like at my house
Just go
and like
jam.
playing the
Shout
drums,
out to
and
Guitar
just,
Center.
like ride my bike to Guitar Center every
try
day.
every single guitar.
And the drums too. That's how I'll learn.
Oh,
I'll go
yeah.
to the drum section and just practice the drums.
Right? They can't even kick you out.
It's like,
Wow.
what's up, Jess? Today's Tool.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like,
Danny Carey, motherfucker.
It's like yesterday I didn't quite get YYZ, but
Yeah.
today I'll try Tool.
I love it.
So what are I always like, what is the polyrhythms or whatever that they do? Like I don't
Exactly,
like, weird like
polyrhythms,
time
yeah.
signatures and I don't know. Who's their lead singer? That like Maynard.
Maynard, yeah. Maynard James
I don't
Keenan.
like him. I like.
Oh yeah, no
I don't know.
one
If I
likes
would start a public beef with him or whatever, but
that. Yeah.
I don't want. I just want to, bury the hatchet or wipe the slate clean. But I got a lot of issues with that guy. So,
Dude,
He's offensive, isn't he? Yeah.
I don't think he's for everybody. I think that's and it's meant to be that way. I think he's okay with it. He's probably he knows what he's doing. That's a lot better than me.
Yeah, his jiu-jitsu
Arizona,
gym
yeah.
and his
Yeah, and like the winery too.
Yeah,
which
winery.
it's in Arizona too,
just
which I mean,
whooping ass and drinking wine. He
can't
just-
complain about his
Yeah.
taste in locations. Like Arizona is the truth. I don't know. Can't wait till I end up retiring there when I'm 40.
Yeah, and you get to meet Garth Brooks. Speaking of the great, run us some of those numbers. What numbers did you go through with us today?
Oh, we was playing Toby Keith first, so we're getting plugged in.
Toby.
It's a classic song. I was just like playing something that everybody could. There's like a few songs out there, especially like old country songs like that. Like not old, it's like 90s country, like old classic country. But there's a lot of those songs that are just like fun songs to play, or like songs that people like hearing. So there's
The last two were great, man.
Well,
it sounded really good. Really sounds great out of that Fender.
That's a
Deluxe
cool
reverb.
one.
Shout out to Carter. Rock on, homie.
Love you, Carter.
And the Gibson, dude, the Melody Maker sounded fucking dope out
I
there.
haven't played that guy.
What was the last song you did?
Trucker Speed by Fred Eaglesmith.
Dude.
That's he's a cool guy. I saw him play live in Atlanta right before the pandemic. He's an old guy from Canada. He's like wife plays
So
like
good.
percussion for him and like
Such a good song.
Amazing.
rhythm.
Keep it in the family.
Yeah. Well, it's I think she was like another touring artist that they met up, but they're
At a truck stop.
maybe, yeah. I mean, that's or
Probably.
maybe she just heard that song and like it's like I could turn it around for him.
Oh, yeah.
I want to help him. He's fun though. He's like an older guy with like a big Santa Claus beard, and
That's great.
Hell yeah, dude. Respect. We got to have him on the show, man.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
That'd be great.
But
He's definitely
He's-
welcome, yeah.
yeah, I remember like I went to see the show. It was at like a listening room, so not a big room. Like not like there's probably
It's just
like,
such a good song.
yeah, there's
it's like,
probably
damn.
like 50 people there, and all of them are like at least 10 years older than me, or more. Like there's a lot just older crowd, and I like it's in Atlanta, so like weed's not legal there, so it's like you can't just like go out and smoke out in, like the street. So I went behind the building in like a parking lot, and I was chiefing in my car. And yeah, shout out to Chiefin. But then I look out the window and I was like, holy shit, that's Fred Eaglesmith. Like that's who we're here to see. And then I like keep watching and he starts changing like out in the back of his van. So he's like,
Damn, no way.
Changing
like,
and chiefing. And
but then he's like, I have a video like of myself. I was like, I just did like a selfie video. It's like, here's me, and in the background is this old dude moving his guitars and like changing it and putting on his like performance
Just get
shirt.
ready for the show.
I mean, for real, that's
Hell
what it
yeah.
was. And then the shirt I saw him put on was the shirt he came out wearing. And I was like, all right, I feel like I got real backstage experience, you know?
Hell yeah.
But he didn't play that song. I was bummed. But I think everybody would have been a little bit more bummed had he played the song because it's a sad song. Like,
Yeah, dude. That was a sad song, but you really captured it. You really did a great take of that.
oh, that's,
Like that, man.
You're too nice. You're too kind. So,
That was good shit.
uh,
Have you been entertaining the little ones, the little doggos?
yeah,
How they
dogs
been
are great. Actually, Atlas has had both of his hind legs, the knees replaced this year.
Uh-huh.
And that's been pretty rough, both like spiritually, mentally, and financially.
They didn't take...
Brutal.
Yeah, when we took him to MedVet, we pulled out all the stops. Like we gave him the best treatment he could get for my little guy. But
Man.
it was rough when it happened. Like the first time it happened, it was really traumatic. He let out an awful yelp and like he like blew out his knee. And he wouldn't walk, and he was really hurt by it. And then he had to get the surgery, which was awful. And like it's like a 12-week recovery process. And then after the 12 weeks is up, and he's like, okay, you can go back to like normal. He's running in our backyard, and he runs after. There's a bunny rabbit. He runs after it, and it's like literally like 12 and a half weeks from surgery. He runs after this bunny and throws out his other knee. It's like, and at that time wasn't traumatic. He was like, "Oh, I fucked up." And I looked. I watched both of them happen. I was like, "You're kidding me! That you didn't just do the exact
He's
same
just
thing."
a boy.
It's like,
damn, dude.
oh, and then it's like waking, and I didn't feel so bad about it because when they did the first time, the first knee, I did like the research obviously on the surgery and like did my due diligence, seeing what was going to happen. And one of the things I saw is like the like staggering amount of like occurrences, like if it happens to one of their knees, how likely it's going to happen to the other knee within like a year of the first one.
That's rough.
And it's like in the 90 something percent. Like,
damn, dude.
so I was like, all right, well. But now
Big ticking time bomb, but he's doing better.
Well, yeah, and then like he's got fancy robot legs now. That's like the odds of them, they're like stronger than the regular knees, and like much less like not if now it's like if anything happens to him, he's gonna have to have his leg amputated because it's like they're built like solid, but that like if something happened to him now, it'd be like something serious.
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Well, love to the puppies, man. Love those little dudes.
Yeah, it was like a surgery for big dogs or for like heavier dogs. Typically, they don't do like there's a less like strength like intense like hardy like sturdy surgery they could do. That sometimes they do for little dogs, but for a little bit more, you get like a nicer surgery, and it's like the more modern top of the like state of the art.
Gotcha.
So, but now he's back up and running. He
nice.
ain't even hurt.
That's good, man.
It's amazing.
Are you going to any shows recently, or what's the last like live show you've been to? Anything coming up?
The last one I went to was a phenomenal show. It was Mike and the Moon Pies. Down at what is it? Dick's, I think. It's like by Goose Island. Dick's on Weed or something like that, or Joe's on Weed. That's it. Joe's on Weed Street or something. Maybe that's
nice.
But yeah, Mike and the Moon Pies was the band. They're phenomenal, a great show. And then it's they had like some merch girl too, is like handing out like little novelty like moon pies with like a barcode and or like a QR code and some social media.
Nice modern marketing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cute too because it's just a little
moon pie. Yeah.
Yeah, for Mike and the Moon Pies. But their show was great, and then they're a band. They've I think they're all about playing live, and they just play live.
Nice.
They're like starting, being like a cover band at like a bar and grill or like a band, like a place where like it's just people would go to see cover bands or would see stuff like that. But they have so much like such good chops, and they just make such great music. And it was
hell yeah, dude! I gotta check those guys out.
Yeah, amazing show.
The guys that played your wedding, dude, were dope.
They were cool.
They
man.
were good, man.
They were great.
They did a great job.
The only complaint I had was the singer, the girl. Like I said, I didn't like they charged us extra to have a girl there because they wouldn't let they couldn't stay in like the same room. We had to pay for their hotels and stuff, and like she had to have her own room. So it's like, well, when I requested the band, like because you could say how many people you want. They have like a roster of musicians who like go and do these weddings, so you have a band at it. And I said I just wanted like a 4-piece, rock band, like whatever. And they're just like, well, if you do that, it's like it'll basically just be like a bar band. It's like, yeah, that's what I'm asking for. Like, have that for my wedding. Then it's like, we're not gonna do that. It's like, fucking all right, fine. So they had that, and then it's the other thing that because we went to like a showcase for them. They had a bar in the city where they would play their stuff and like showcase the different, like a whole like 13-piece band, like a whole like small band, like a trio, like a string band or whatever. And they had the singer there, like this female singer, who ended up being the performer for my wedding. And she was like really crass and really like profane. She kept swearing. She kept saying like stuff. It's like, oh, really? Like, it was awkward because I was there with my in-laws. Like, it was me, my fiance, now wife, and her parents. And I was like, oh, like, and they're super like nice people. They're really, really good folks. And I'm really partial to my in-laws. They're awesome. But they're not. They don't like. They're soft about like swearing and stuff. Like, I don't swear around them, and like they're not like people who cuss, and then they're offended by swearing or whatever. And this girl,
we gotta stop with the swear words on the show.
Oh, really?
Oh, we can
just
censor them, right?
Just bleep them out.
Yeah.
Nah.
But that's what she was doing, and that's like that was like the only request that I had was like not the one who was like, if it's got to be like a girl singer, it's like not the one who was like that one, and then that's the one who they said was like, all right, whatever. But I thought, and then the other thing I the only like real solid request I had for like songs outside of just like play the hits, play the songs that people like to play at weddings, is I wanted the last song of the night to be "Purple Rain" by Prince as like the closer.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, they learned like the chords to it in the parking lot. Or like, there's no practice that went into it. Like some of the singers, like, have you even ever heard the song before? Like, is that how it goes? But that was kind of a bummer.
Well, they did have.
They were a great band, though.
They were good.
Yeah,
they were good. I didn't know all that, but
way better.
Damn.
Well, and then way better than having like a DJ or like an MC or something like that, an iPad or an iPod. But yeah, next up though is Riot Fest. I mean, Nico's coming
here
to
we
town.
go. Let's go Riot Fest. Ooh, are you going all 3 days?
No, just Saturday. See,
nice, dude. Saturday is stacked.
There's another.
It is stacked.
What
man.
is it?
Saturday
Sunday is
good,
the one
dude.
that's like. Like Sunday is like emo day.
Sunday's emo day?
They had. I'd have to look at it again, but I thought there was like a list of it's like emo like from like our high school days, like circa like 2005 like ragers. You know,
Yeah.
Like, I think the Used is playing.
Wow.
Thursday.
Fall Out Boy.
Damn.
Is Fall Out Boy doing it?
Probably.
Oh,
I don't
jeez.
know.
Yeah.
I'm just.
I just
Thursday.
Pete Wentz. What's
yeah.
it?
Saturday night I think is the night. That's the night Death Grips was playing, right?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
The one I'm going to
I
is
think
the
it's
one.
Saturday.
That's the only day that Nico's going to be in town.
Nice.
And he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, should we get tickets and go?" Which I still need to pick him up. But
Shout out to Nico.
yeah, he's a cool cat. But so he said he was coming down like for a certain amount of time. That's like the one day that they could go. So we're gonna check that out. Just so it happened to be.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
worried
dude.
about the Insane Clown Posse, though. You know,
Yeah.
like
That
how
was a little alarming when they came out as Christians, right?
did they
It happened sometime during quarantine.
really?
Yeah, you can Google it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Awkward.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because I was like saying like, do I wear makeup just to fit in with like the other juggalos? So that like, I don't want to be like surrounded by like 20 guys in face paint and not have any on myself. Like,
Maybe
True.
you just wear a cross and you'll be okay.
they would beat me up even harder then, wouldn't they? They're not. Well, no, now they're Christian. If you say, yeah.
Well, shout out to Riot Fest. Good call. That's a good show. I might have to join you. Saturday did look
Hell yeah, man.
like a good bill.
Postal Service and Death Cab for
Postal
Cutie are
Service
like
would be really
headlining.
cool. Really cool to see.
It's
Good stuff, man.
Ben-
Well, you got anything yourself booked? You got any shows coming up?
No, yeah, nothing like that.
Still working on the 10-minute. The 10-minute song is step one. Shows step two.
Step 3, profit.
But I mean, you already did rock radio, so you're already.
Well, I'm on my
Step
way.
ahead, man.
So
Yeah, thanks again
Hell yeah.
for.
Yeah, dude, Tommy,
thanks for
thanks so
having
much
me.
for
Yeah,
coming
I
out,
didn't
man.
expect
Kicking
it.
it with us. It was a blast. Definitely have you back
Oh yeah.
with the peppers and the guitars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hell
get
yeah.
the peppers in. That'd be very entertaining.
Very entertaining. Until then, thanks y'all. Have a great night. Happy 4th of July. I mean, shit. Have a great weekend.